Hey guys, it is Lyndsay and Hannah. Just wanted to give you a quick little editorial note before we went into the episode today. We do bring up sexual assault and also some illegal activities on children, as well as a couple hot topics that are going on online right now. So we just wanted to give a brief trigger warning before you went in. Aside from that, a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about today is kind of hard to put into words because some of it is how do we teach people how to just be correct or be morally ethic. So I apologize if there's a little bit of rambling, but that's what these mini-sodes are for, just filling in the details. So we hope that you enjoy this, and we can't wait to create more content for you guys and talk to you online. So enjoy the episode. Thanks. Welcome to episode 1.5, I guess we'll call it, of the How to Talk to Your Republican Uncle podcast. I am Lyndsay. Joined with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Hannah. Hello, Hannah. How are you?
Hello, Lyndsay. I am wonderful. How are you?
I am, rocking and rolling, as I always like to say and get made up for saying. But so we just recently did released our first episode speaking about Biden. We got a couple questions online about one thing that's kind of big that Republican uncles like to bring up that we haven't talked about or we didn't bring up in that episode. So we wanted to go back and kind of touch on that. And then later in the episode, we also have a very dear friend of mine who we will get to talk to in a moment about a current Twitter trend, hashtag Biden erased women. But first, let's talk about what we didn't talk about last time, which is the laptop and pedophile accusations.
Right. So this is about the whole Hunter Biden Burisma thing. So basically, the New York Post dropped this story on October 14th, 2020, and it alleged that Hunter Biden had dropped off a water-damaged laptop, a MacBook, to a repair shop in Delaware, and that the repairman found emails on the hard drive implying a conflict of interest regarding his position at Burisma and his relationship with then Vice President Biden. It also alleges that the repairman found a bunch of pictures of Hunter Biden doing drugs, having sex with prostitutes, and even, not safe for work warning, torturing and raping children.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, this comes out and shit hits the fan. Everybody is like, what the fuck is this? There's no way. And turns out, yeah, there is no way because the report was brought to the New York Post by Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon. So already red flags are up that this was planted, since that's Trump's personal lawyer and his best friend, basically. So they brought it to the New York Post after literally every other news network, even Fox News, refused to publish it because it lacked sufficient evidence and had not been properly sourced. Basically, it was just too unbelievable to publish, except for the New York Post, which doesn't really have a very stellar reputation in terms of journalistic integrity. So let's just go ahead and go right into all the reasons why this whole claim, not even just the pedophilia accusations, but the whole laptop thing is just absolute bullshit, because there's more to this.
And this is, again, this would be the reasons to tell, or things to tell your Republican uncle to disprove this theory section. That's
right. Yeah, definitely. This is what you can say when that gets brought up. So no news networks would publish it because it was so unbelievable and didn't have credible sources, just like we said. The alleged photos were not included in this story, in the reporting, in any reporting. And the only email that alleged corruption was a misspelled email that could have easily been forged. It was just a picture of the email, and there were all these misspellings and typos in it. So I mean, anybody who's received a fake email from Amazon.com about your account number or whatever knows exactly what I'm talking about. does not look legit. And so, like, it's just ridiculous. So, and then, like, since the photos weren't included, who's to say that they exist?
Right.
If they do exist, then why wouldn't they just release them?
Yeah, pretty much the only explainable answer here is that Hunter Biden, and we're cracking this case right now. You heard it here first before, like, Fox, CNN, or anyone got it.
No, it's right
Hunter
here.
Biden is actually in love with a Persian prince who needs you to send him $2,000 right now, or he will die.
So, or like, he'll torture your children, I guess.
Yeah, so apparently. It's pretty much like, even, first of all, as someone who works in hardware, if someone was like, hey, can you make my laptop work again? The first thing I would do when it turns on is be like, cool, all right, looks good. I would check the internet. Like, I would literally, like, go, like, Google, and then, I don't know, like, Pinkfish or something random, you know? Like,
right.
So, first of all, I know this is, like, not an actual excuse, but why the hell is this guy just like, let me check the former vice president at the time, Joe Biden's son's emails? Cool.
Yeah, like, let me go into the dark recesses of his hard drive and find exactly the perfect incriminating evidence.
But then again,
in the thing that's being discussed. Like,
yeah, but then
what
again,
a coincidence.
We know that Trump and Giuliani love showing these random articles and random graphs and stupid stuff that just is not, like, just unbelievable, literally, because it's not real.
This is 100% on brand for them.
Yeah, so I feel like if they actually had that, first of all, like, you could Photoshop some terrible pictures.
Yeah.
I just feel like this also, as you said, was brought from a random crevice of the web to the New York Times, and the New York Times was like, cool.
No, the New York Post.
Or New York Post, thank you.
Yeah.
The New York Post was like, okay, r/ made up stories, cool. You
right,
know?
Literally. Well, and the whole pedophilia thing originated off of 4chan. Like, people took that and then started rolling with it on 4chan, which, like,
and I don't know about you, but the only person I know that uses 4chan instead of Reddit or just Twitter is one of the most abusive relationships I've ever been in. Like,
right? No, like, the second somebody brings up 4chan, you're just like, oh, my Uber's here. Like,
oh, my grandma died again. I have to leave. Like,
sorry, it's her funeral. I forgot.
Yep.
No, literally, it's just it's like, there's just no credible sources. And so the kicker too, what's really cute is that this repairman, this little repair dude from Delaware, could not positively identify Hunter Biden when he dropped off the laptop. The only evidence that it was Hunter Biden was the man said he was, and there was a Beau Biden Foundation sticker on the laptop. That's it. So, like, let me set the stage for you. Like, I'm a random dude. I walk into your shop.
Hi, welcome to my shop. I'm a random repairman from Delaware. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm Hunter Biden. This is my laptop. You can tell because it has a Biden sticker on it.
Sounds legit enough. Why would I question anything ever in my life?
Right? I flew all the way from California to Delaware just to give you, this random repairman, my laptop.
Oh my God, I need to tell my friends on 4chan about this real quick.
Right? Like,
it's just so ridiculous. So, okay.
Well, and some people are even trying to say that, like, oh, Biden definitely did it because he flew from California to Delaware, which is, like, Joe Biden's home state. And they're like, yeah, see, there's the connection because it's his home state. And it's like, yeah, if you're the dumbest criminal ever, like, if he's actually this, like, crazy torturer pedophile dude, you think he's gonna go to his dad's home state, like the vice president's home state, and drop off his laptop? Like, no, he's gonna give it to his
he's gonna go to Jeffrey Epstein's island and hang out with Trump and like,
and
deliver
then
it that way.
Do it.
Yeah,
seriously, he's not just gonna be like, here's stranger, here's all of the worst things that I've ever done, please take it and report it to the news.
So
there's no way.
So long story short, just bullshit.
Yeah. We're just talking about a lot of bullshit today.
We really are. We really are. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I think there's gonna, be quite a bit of just rambling today, because this little mini-sode is just kind of how do we teach people moral ethics, and we didn't think that we would have to explain this, but we do. So
yeah, to adults, you should know empathy.
So
you should know critical thinking.
Yeah, seriously. So anyway, when your Republican uncle brings up the pedophile acts, or like the sniffing the hair, if you watch the full video of that, it's like, no. Like, I make that face when my mom leans in to hug me, because I'm just like, it's,
yeah, Mom.
It's also just like her deadpan face,
Yeah.
Like, so, but yeah, anyway, just all of that. If you did any type of research, I'm just gonna get a hat, like a tattoo that says like #Google it.
Yeah, seriously. But then they always say, well, I did my own research.
Yeah, I found my own sources. So anyway,
Fortune.
That has been, beaten to a pulp like Hunter Biden's laptop, I guess. So
yeah, apparently.
So we are going to go ahead and move right along and now talk about the #Biden erased women after a few editorial notes. All right, welcome back from that beautiful ad break. Welcome to the How to Talk to Your Republican Uncle podcast. We are now joined with one of my lifelong friends, Naomi. Naomi, if you would like to introduce yourself, go ahead. That would be awesome.
Hi, my name's Naomi, and I've been friends with Lyndsay for over a decade. And I've been friends with Hannah for over 10 minutes, and they're both
best friendship.
People. I served in the military for 5 years. I started transitioning while I was in the military. Wasn't allowed to re-enlist. I'll get more into that later. And now I find myself in a much happier state of being in life, living as my true self.
I am so thankful, first of all, to have Naomi here today. Like she said, one of my closest friends, one of my lifelong friends, but something going on online that we wanted to talk about and specifically bring Naomi in for her big, beautiful brain about this is there is a current topic trending on Twitter, and it's #Biden erased women. This is hot on Twitter right now. Pretty much, it's going over the new revisions to the Title IX executive order. So in this executive order, it reads, every person should be treated with respect and dignity and should be able to live without fear no matter who they are and whom they love. Children should be able to learn without worrying about whether they will be denied access to the restroom, the locker room, or school sports. Adults should be able to earn a living and pursue a vocation knowing that they will not be fired, demoted, or mistreated because of whom they go home to or because of how they dress, or if how they dress does not conform to sex-based stereotypes. People should be able to access health care and secure a roof over their heads without being subject to sex discrimination. All persons should receive equal treatment under the law, no matter their gender identity or sexual orientation. So,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
sounds great.
Sounds good to literally everybody. Yeah,
right.
So, this was just the beginning part of the revision on the Title IX executive order. And this is what caused the Biden erases women hashtag on Twitter. So pretty much these terrible, terrible people that are referred to as TERFs, which means trans exclusionary radical feminist. Biggest example of that being J.K. Rowling, which promotes TERF shops and merch on her Twitter, and is super loud about her stance. So pretty much what these people have been doing is just being disgusting online. Yeah, Hannah, do you want to dive a little bit into TERFs and all of that fun stuff?
Yeah, so basically, TERF stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. And so basically, they believe that like the only real women are like people who were, assigned female at birth, and that trans women don't count as quote unquote real women. And they see the trans, especially the trans female community, as a threat to themselves. Like, imagine thinking that equality is a threat.
Mm-hmm. So it's like feminine masculinity issues.
Yeah, it's like toxic femininity. Basically.
Yes, thank you.
It's the weirdest thing, and yeah, I would love to get your opinion too, Naomi, if you have any experience with TERFs.
So TERFs, not personally. I am fortunate enough, and I understand that I am fortunate enough to have passing privilege when I really try, when I go out. And in a place like South Carolina, where there are so many TERFs and there are so many dangerous situations that trans people can find themselves in, it is really important to like understand and know how to react to that sort of thing. So even though I may not have any experience personally, I am up to date on like TERFs and turfiness and TERFs.
Yeah.
Is there like a particular way that is best to react to that?
Typically just not feeding it, just not feeding into it. Because it's like these laws, these equality laws that are being passed aren't gonna integrate these bathrooms and create this incredibly dangerous environment where men are gonna be preying on children. These types of laws are coming into existence to protect people like me, because if I, looking how I look, go into a male bathroom, I am in danger.
Yeah.
So those types of laws, like, I don't think TERFs realize that the laws aren't directed towards and about them. It's about establishing a standard of safety for the general U.S. populace.
100%. Well, and I saw something recently. This isn't my original thought. This is the thought of somebody much smarter than me who put it on the internet. But they said, if you're concerned about like trans women coming into like, women's bathrooms and, causing havoc or whatever, then you're like, if you're afraid of that, you're afraid of toxic men. You're not afraid of trans women. Like those are like trans women don't do that. Like a toxic man would do that, not a trans woman. So we're not even like talking about the same thing.
Yeah. It's and people like to do that. People like the prison issue. People like to take those things and they like to twist them. So the prison issue is like in some states, me not having my gender marker changed yet on my license, looking how I look, presenting how I present, identifying how I identify as, I would go to a male prison. If I was picked up, and in the state of South Carolina, if one person has cannabis in the car, the rest are arrested as well. So if I'm in the car with anybody that has like an eighth or a joint on them, I could be sent to a male prison. And these laws that are, that typically people deem as progressive, which they are progressive, which some people believe are actually hurtful to their safety and their culture for some reason. It's actually just to like, I just wanted people to not go to a male prison. Like, I'm not a man going into a female prison. If I get sent to a female prison, I'm a female going to a female prison. So like,
and one of the tweets leading to that again, these TERFs online are posting. For example, I won't say the name, but this woman posted saying, #Biden erases women, stripping women of their right to equality in sports, domestic abuse shelters, prison yards, universities, ... Thanks for the 3 hours of unity, Joe, and your voice for women, Kamala. #frauds.
Cute.
That's just
again
terrible.
Like, just like you said, Naomi, like it's not about them. Like it is not about you.
Yeah, Like, we're not taking any of your rights away. Like, your rights aren't in
Seriously.
danger. You can still use these facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think that was even like my biggest point of like if they even tried to consider flipping the script, like they it's just insane. Like people I don't
Yeah.
understand how people can lack such empathy or such understanding to like change at all.
Well, it's wild to me that when you introduce like a minority of any sort into something, then all of a sudden the majority gets mad, where it's like, oh, majority, you can play sports, and then they're like, yay, and then it's like, but also this minority can play sports, and they're like, well, now we don't want it anymore. Like,
Mhm.
that's just
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's disgusting. So another example of this Biden erases women on Twitter. Someone posted, and it's a screenshot of this article, and it reads: Biden's executive orders that prioritizes transgender people is a disaster for ordinary women and girls across America. And then it continues to say, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done more damage to women's rights in one day than Donald Trump managed in 4 years with their misguided executive order on gender equality discrimination. Yikes. I don't understand how someone who literally came into the office like, hey Joe, welcome to work. No, I can't understand how someone who came into office literally saying grab them by the pussy now has multiple sexual harassment and rape allegations out and pending. Like, yet somehow
Somehow Joe is the one that's a traitor to women
yeah,
everywhere.
it's just ridiculous. I think people are people are just selfish. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, and we live in an amazing time. Like, we're seeing an unprecedented record numbers of women and BIPOC representation in Congress and the House of Representatives. And
Yeah.
we've seen things like the first Native Americans, two of them were just elected to positions within I forget if it was the House of Representatives or the Senate. It was one of the two. Just edit that, I guess. But
Congress. It's fine.
Congress, yeah, that. Um, yeah, I forgot where I was going with that.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was about like, we're living in this amazing time. We're seeing all of these like, BIPOC representation, women in Congress.
Hmm. It's so I feel like people are just they're too comfortable. So the people that, you know, say that these bills are coming in and entrenching on female spaces and taking away female rights, these sorts of people are looking at it from an us versus them mentality, like a very demagogorous mentality where it's just there is no gray area, there is no middle ground, there is no compromise, there is just the two extremes. And that is
Hmm.
how almost every war in the history of humanity has been started.
Mm-hmm.
So I I don't know how people can continue to think like that. And people
Well,
like
I know,
Trump
and it's
just
yeah,
further
sorry.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just history repeating itself. I mean, people said the same thing during, the end of segregation. Like, oh my God, like they can't possibly, Black people can't possibly be in our spaces because, all these weird reasons. And it's just happening again and again and again. And it's like, when will people realize that like the exclusionary side is never the right side?
Right.
Like that's always the
Mhm.
side that dies.
Right. Well, and a lot of people argue and say, like, well, if you look at, MLK was actually born in like 1929, like he would, he'd still be alive today. It really wasn't that long ago. Like we've came a long way in that time. And I'm not refuting that point, but like also not really. Like I know there are so many countries that are further ahead of us when it
Mhm.
comes to accepting, like, oh, you're a human being with a heart. Cool. You get the same as this
You
person. Like,
you get these rights.
yeah, exactly. And so I think it's so disgusting the fact that this is just a safety measure. This is
Mhm.
just a standard thing that is done. It's really just so if someone is being sexist in the office, you can say, hey, you can't do that. I can, get you in trouble. So I don't understand.
It's just protective.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like really notice it unless you're living it. I have the unique experience of seeing both sides of it. I had white male privilege, and now I have white female privilege, which is a little different than white male privilege. However, the amount of disrespect and the amount of times that I've been overlooked and that I've been mansplained to simply for passing or presenting as a female, it's really out of this world. People I've known for years started treating me differently, subtly, like as opposed to say you don't know how to do something and you ask your friend sitting across the room like, hey, do you remember how to do this? And they're like, yeah, you do this. And then you're like, oh, okay. So people that I've known for years will just come over and like take over things that I'm doing because like I'm not doing it right, or like they think that they can do it better, but it's subconscious. It's ingrained in the fibers of like men that have been raised up in this country. Like they don't even realize that they're treating me differently because they have the utmost love and respect for me as much as they can. But they just don't. These things are so normalized and these things are so ingrained that people literally just don't even recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, and that's what's so frustrating to me personally about TERFs is that like they call themselves feminists and then they just like go ahead and exclude this like whole portion of women just because they're like, well, not those ones. And it's like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like we could all be working together to fix these issues that affect all women, and yet, they're just deciding to have this like really dumb fight and draw lines in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it just inhibits progress.
Yeah, and I feel like something that, like your Republican uncle says all the time, or your Republican aunt in this case, you see on Facebook all day long, like, oh, like, I'm a unicorn and I'm unique and I'm blah, 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 like all these, like, overplayed, like, Dear God, the Minions, and now, unfortunately, the Baby Yoda shit, but, like, it's, you see, like, all these cries of, like, don't be normal, dance in the rain, but then, like,
yes.
You see, literally, that tweet was, like, normal women.
Right.
Like, I thought
which is
even
one.
I thought even the Republican side of the dinner table decided that was fucking stupid. There is no normal, the same as there is no perfect,
Yeah.
I feel like part of the extremes thing too is like people will look at feminism and be people that are uneducated about what feminism is will look at feminism and say this is about women asserting themselves as superior or the best, and that is not what feminism is about. Feminism is us banding together and saying that we are as equal as you.
Yeah.
So it's people just make assumptions before they truly understand things, and that's the American media discussion. That's for another time.
Yeah. I was gonna say I could go on about how people are like, that's why I hate new age feminism, and it's like, oh, because you can't fucking touch my ass anymore without me punching you in the fucking dick, like,
yeah,
like, oh, I'm sorry,
oh my
like,
gosh, or when they say like, oh, so I can punch you now, and it's like, wow, that's fun that you went to violence first.
Yeah, that's like the
Right.
only thing that, because
it's the only thing they ever say.
Female, like, okay, cool. This is just a ridiculous thing. Biden did not erase women. Biden elevated the voices of women, of every single woman by doing this. So when it comes to talking to your Republican uncle or aunt or anyone in this case about hashtag Biden erases women, say hashtag I'm erasing this conversation, because it's not at all a thing. This measure is just for safety, and it doesn't affect you at all. I really enjoyed our chat about this. I know this is just a little mini-sode, but Naomi, thank you so much for coming on and bringing this perspective. And we're so thankful. Yeah, we're so thankful that you took time out of your schedule to hang out with us, and we hope to have you on again. But I also wanted to mention that Hannah and I, the podcast as a whole, has also received its first hate mail. So we're doing something right.
Yeah, we got our first troll.
Yeah, so we're really proud of ourselves. Aside from that, thank you guys again for hanging out and joining us on How to Talk to Your Republican Uncle. So you can now listen to us on up to 6 different platforms. So Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We just got the email today that we were put on iTunes, and we both have been constantly drinking, celebrating. Someone please call my mom. I want to go home.
Call me an Uber.
Yeah, aside from that, you can also, of course, check us out at on Anchor, anchor.fm/HTTTYRU. We are also HTTTYRU on Twitter and Instagram, and at Republican Uncle on Facebook. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today and talking about the hashtag Biden erased women, and also the touching back on the laptop and the pedophile accusations with Biden. So appreciate you guys and hanging out with us, and we hope to see Naomi again soon. This was really fun. I appreciate it.
Yes. I would love to be back. Thank you.
Yeah.